So let's talk today about authenticity and why this matters so much. So before we can talk about why it matters so much, let's talk about what it is. So, there's these popular shows like Antiques Roadshow where people are hunting for treasure and then they bring their treasure to be appraised and they want to know what value it has. And the value that it has is tied to it being authentic. Did you hear that? The value that this treasure that people have found at yard sales or rummage sales or thrift stores or wherever, the value is tied to its being authentic. What's another way of saying authentic? Real, original, genuine. This is the value that one of these hidden treasures that somebody has found, like that's what they base it by. Is this authentic? We have such a high value for authenticity when it comes to our personal and our professional lives. And I really want to highlight that for a moment because when it comes to business and marketing, there are very common schools of thought as if they're different than real life, but they're not. They are no different. And so the things that we value in life, we also value in business, and sometimes even more so. So there's all of this language out there right now about building a personal brand. And so much of that, if you kind of go down that bunny trail, equivocates to building this persona, to showing up as somebody who you're not, positioning yourself as the thought leader. And I understand the thought process behind it, but is it authentic to who you are? Is it the real you? When you meet somebody for the first time, is there that question in your mind, is this person really who they say they are? There is, right? We all have that. We all have that, especially, we've got life circumstances that cause us to think that way, or business transactions that cause us to think that way. Is this person really who they say they are? And what does that determine? Whether or not we trust them. And we talked about this before, that trust comes before transactions. Trust is the single most valuable commodity we have in business is trust. And so much of trust is precipitated on this idea of, are you who you say you are? Are you going to do what you promise to do? What do those things tie back to? Authenticity. This is why it matters so much. Now, there is obviously an emotional component as well, but there's also a bottom line component. And that's what I want to emphasize, right? Like just like on Antiques Roadshow or some of these other things, the value that is associated with these things that people have found is associated based on their authenticity. The trust factor that people have with you to do business with you is so often, so deeply, much more deeply than we recognize, tied to authenticity. Are you who you say you are? Now, why is this so important? Because we go through these things in life and they create these neural pathways, right? And these thought processes. So how many times have we been burned by somebody who wasn't who we thought they were, or wasn't who they said they were, or didn't follow through on what they said they would do? What happened in each one of those circumstances? It was inauthentic. Who they said they were was not authentic to who they are. It would be like finding this hidden treasure at a garage sale and you think you found this one-of-a-kind original piece of art, and then you get it to Antiques Roadshow and actually it was a cheap knockoff. And so you thought that you had this valuable thing, but actually all you had was a piece of junk. Is that how we want anybody to feel about their interaction with us? I don't think so. That would crush me personally. Like, that would be the most devastating experience, is for somebody to feel like they had found this treasure and then just ended up with a brushed up piece of junk, right? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that experience out there. Nobody wants people to have that experience with them. Well, guess what? That experience is branding. We talked about that as well, right? Every interaction anyone has with you on any level is that opportunity to build or break, for that matter, trust. Trust comes before transactions. And so if value is associated with authenticity, then I'm going to take it a step further and say that monetary value is as well. This is why trust matters so much. And here's the thing, when you show up as inauthentic to who you are, people will be able to feel it from a mile away. They might not even be able to articulate what it is that they're experiencing. And there's brain science, that backs this up, that's absolutely fascinating. But we can feel when somebody isn't genuine. We'll comment it like, oh, that person, I get a weird vibe about that person. Or, yeah, that person's just all blowing smoke. Or that person's all like, whatever. There's all of these things we feel emotionally. There's a disconnect. What are we picking up on? We're picking up on the fact that the way that person is showing up in the world and to us is not authentic. Does that build trust when you have that interaction with somebody that makes you feel like, I don't know if this person is really who they say they are? No, it doesn't. It breaks it, right? And the most powerful commodity and valuable commodity we have in business is trust with the people that we serve. So this is why authenticity matters so much. This is why it's not about building a personal brand or creating this persona or positioning yourself. No, it's about being who you are, so that you are providing that authentic experience with who you are that builds know, like, and trust with you as a person, that gives people that peace of mind. When I interact with them, I know this person is who they say they are. I know they're going to follow through. I know this person is a person of their word. I know all of these things that we associate with trust. So, if it's not about building a personal brand, if it's about showing up authentically as who you are, have you really stopped to consider, what is your authentic personal brand? That is something I would love to help you get clarity on. And so I want to invite you into my brand new 12-week Own Your Difference coaching program that kicks off on August 1st. There are still a few seats available. Don't miss out. This cohort will close on August 1st and won't open again until probably later this year or early next year. And here's what we're going to cover together. So in these 12 weeks, we're going to get so clear on the authentic identity of your personal brand, and then how to amplify that message again authentically, so that the people who need you can find you and connect with you and build those relationships, and then how to multiply that impact authentically, not from a place of overwhelm, but from a place of rest, where you are seeing more results and more impact without it taking more of your time. If that intrigues you, I invite you to check out the link I am going to put here in the show notes in the comments for you, so you can read all the juicy details. But I would love to take this journey with you of owning your difference, not just being different, but your authentic difference, in a way that builds real trust with the real you, where the authenticity is associated with value for them and for you. So I invite you to go check out the juicy details, read all about it. I hope to see you inside, and I will see you next week right here for another live. Have a great day.